Hello everyone, hope you're all well and thanks very much for all the support with my videos. Today I want to speak about bankers. Bankers are back in town in terms of bankers' bonuses. We've seen that over the last number of months with the Irish government acceding to the demands to not put a cap on bankers' salaries. And also now we've seen the bankers coming out with huge profits in Ireland because of interest rate increases through the European Central Bank. Now also we've seen them deciding to give their dividends to their big shareholders, and their big shareholders are a lot of international financial institutions, and it comes at the behest of the Irish government, who have allowed this to happen because of, again, no regulation. And we all know where that went before in Irish society, where we were saddled with a huge amount of the banking debt here in Ireland. Now, salaries are huge for these people who are involved in the banks. In 2022, one person pulled in 24 million euro. That was a 2 million salary plus 22 million euro in variable pay. Huge amount of money. And not to mention the 50 top executives from financial institutions were paid just short of 90 million in 2021. Now this is at the same time when more and more people have been forced into poverty and more people are struggling because of higher interest rates as well. We've seen the profits go through the roof. In February of this year, Bank of Ireland recorded 1.9 billion euro worth in pre-tax profits for 2023, and AIB was 2 billion. And now, due to high interest rates from the European Central Bank over the last couple of years, and of course not being passed on to people who have money on deposit in banks as well, and they're making huge profits, and now is the time to start giving more money back to their shareholders and not the ordinary people. So any bank's sins of the future are now going to be divvied out to the shareholders who take next to no risk, and that's the reality of the banking sector here in Ireland. We've seen a few number of banks close over the last number of years and leave Ireland, such as KCB, KBC Bank, we've seen Ulster Bank, and also we've seen the market just become Bank of Ireland, AIB and Permanent TSB, which again were bailed out by all of us and were partly owned by all of us, but I don't think any of the Irish people saw any dividend from the bank as well. Not to mention the mortgage holders who are paying higher interest rates as well. Now, a number of months ago, Simon Harris said it was offensive to consider that the bankers were looking for bigger salaries and bigger profits. But at the same time, he's let this happen because that's who they ultimately serve, the white-collar criminals in those banks as well. So now over the next number of weeks, we'll see Bank of Ireland and AIB rush with like 2 to 3 billion euros worth of dividends are going to be divvied out to their shareholders, while ordinary people are the ones that are suffering, and it will be bailing them out yet again at the behest of the government. It shows so much control the bankers have in our society and internationally also as well. And it is important because you can see the real estate market in terms of the commercial real estate market, which internationally is in hock to about $2.2 trillion worth of assets at the moment. We can see them depreciating. We can see a huge amount of vacancy in terms of commercial real estate here in Dublin, across Ireland. And it is important to note that this is another bubble that's ready to burst again at some point. But again, now is the time to start giving the dividends out to the bankers and the international bankers who own a certain percentage of all these financial institutions here in Ireland. So this is what's coming down the tracks. But of course, this isn't being protected in case of any financial crash which is coming in the future again. So rather than preserve this money, or rather than the state intervening to make sure that this money is maintained to insure the banks against any future financial crash, they don't, because they're all protected. And that's the way the magic money tree works, and the way the financial system is being in hock to the political class who work after them as well. So who's not to like in our society if you're a banker? And it's interesting because so many of the political class go and work with the banking industry. Vulture Funds, Brian Hayes, an ex-Fine Gael TD and MEP, is the Chief Executive Officer of the Bank and Payments Federation. And in the last 9 to 10 years, they've lobbied the Irish government over 220 to 230 times to push their agenda through again, rather than the agenda of ordinary people. This is how it operates in Ireland. So the bankers are back quids in after we bailed them out and led to devastating austerity that destroyed so many people in Ireland in terms of their businesses and their lives as well. We've seen that with impacting all of our basic public and social services in Ireland. But now is the time to start having windfalls back, keep the interest rates high, keep more people struggling to pay their bills, and keep the profits high for these extortionate racketeers. And that's really what's going on, this whole cartel system in Ireland in terms of the banking cartel system, and much the same as European Central Bank and the whole operation of the quantitative easing and money supply, backed up by the dollar as well, which we know and we can see internationally how that's impacting in terms of the geopolitical crises we face in terms of the war in Ukraine and the future confrontation that the West leaders are looking towards China as well. So always bankers who profit, always who benefit, and that's follow the money to where the money really serves the ruling classes in society rather than serving the interests of people. Why aren't banks and community banks at the behest of ordinary people, such as proper credit unions or properly run credit unions, where people can loan out and borrow back at reasonable interest rates rather than at this sort of absolutely extortion racketeering that's going on, all facilitated by the European Union and government policies here in Ireland. So thanks for the support of my videos, really appreciate it. Please like, share, comment, and also please press subscribe to my YouTube channel. So from Dublin, take care. Slán.